I stared at the DNA results on my phone screen, and my entire world shattered in that moment. The two people I'd called mom and dad for 25 years? Complete strangers. Let me back up. I'm Sarah, and until last Tuesday, I thought I had the most boring origin story ever. Suburban house, white picket fence, parents who met in college and had me when they were 30. Dad worked in accounting, mom taught 3rd grade. We had family game nights and took camping trips to Yellowstone. Normal. Safe. A lie. The whole DNA thing started because my best friend Jess got one of those ancestry kits for Christmas. "Come on, it'll be fun," she said. "Maybe you're secretly descended from royalty or something." I laughed it off, but she bought me a kit anyway. Said it was research for the family tree project she was doing with her mom. I almost didn't do it. But Mom, the woman I called Mom, had been acting weird lately. Nervous whenever I mentioned anything about family history. She'd change the subject or suddenly remember something urgent in the kitchen. Dad would get this tight look around his eyes. When I was little, I'd asked why I didn't look like them. They were both blonde and fair, and I had dark hair and olive skin. "You got the recessive genes, sweetie," Mom would say. "You look just like Great-Grandma Rosa." But there were no pictures of Great-Grandma Rosa. There were no pictures of any relatives, actually. Just us three. So I spit in the tube and mailed it off, expecting to find out I was 30% Irish or something equally mundane. The results came back on a Tuesday morning. I was drinking coffee in my apartment, scrolling through my phone while getting ready for work. The notification popped up, "Your DNA results are ready." I clicked it open, expecting percentages and maps. Instead, I saw something that made my blood turn to ice. The first result under close DNA matches wasn't mom or dad. It was a woman named Maria Santos, listed as possible parent. My hand started shaking. I clicked on her profile. The photo showed a woman with dark hair and olive skin. She looked exactly like me, but 25 years older. Her location, Phoenix, Arizona. Her age, 51. Math that made perfect sense if she'd had a baby at 26. Below her profile was another close match. Missing, Isabella Santos. Age, 2 years old when last seen. If you have information about this child, please contact Phoenix PD. Isabella Santos. Born March 15, 1999. The same day as my birthday. But my birth certificate said Sarah Mitchell, born in Portland, Oregon. I screenshots everything with trembling fingers. Then I did what any normal person would do. I called the number. "Phoenix Police Department, how can I help you?" I think I might be a missing person. From 25 years ago. Isabella Santos? The silence stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. Then, "Ma'am, can you hold please?" 20 minutes later, I was talking to Detective Rodriguez. Yes, Isabella Santos was still an active case. Yes, they would need to verify my identity. Yes, Maria Santos, my real mother, was still alive and still looking for me. The next few hours passed in a blur. Phone calls. Verification processes. And then the call I'd been dreading. "Sarah?" Mom's voice was tight with worry. "You called in sick to work. Are you okay? I need to ask you something." My voice sounded strange, even to me. "And I need you to tell me the truth." Silence. "Am I Isabella Santos?" The sound that came through the phone wasn't quite a gasp, wasn't quite a sob. It was the sound of 25 years of lies crashing down. "Sarah, sweetie, let's talk about this at home. Are you my kidnappers?" "Don't use that word. We love you. We've always loved you." There it was. Confirmation wrapped in deflection. I hung up the phone and threw it across the room. The next 3 days were hell. I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't process that everything about my life was built on someone else's trauma. My parents, my kidnappers, had stolen me from my real family. From a mother who'd spent 25 years wondering if I was alive. They tried calling, texting. They even showed up at my apartment, but I wouldn't let them in. Through the door, I could hear Mom crying. Dad begging me to listen. But what was there to say? They'd erased my identity. My real family. My real name. That's when the rage kicked in. Pure, white-hot fury that burned away the confusion and hurt. They'd had 25 years with me. 25 years that belonged to someone else. And they'd made me complicit in my own kidnapping by raising me to love them. I wanted them to feel what my real mother felt. The helplessness. The not knowing. The fear that someone you love might be suffering somewhere beyond your reach. So I disappeared. I quit my job via email. Broke my lease. Emptied my bank accounts. Left my phone behind and bought a burner. I wanted them to experience the exact terror they'd put Maria Santos through. The sleepless nights. The what-ifs. The desperate hope that turns into devastating despair. I drove to Phoenix and met my real mother. Maria Santos, who still lived in the same house, hoping I'd somehow find my way home. Who'd kept my nursery exactly the same for 25 years. Who collapsed into my arms sobbing when she saw me standing on her doorstep. I knew you'd come back, she whispered. I always knew. I stayed in Phoenix for 2 months. Learning Spanish from the mother who should have taught me. Meeting aunts and uncles and cousins who remembered baby Isabella. Seeing home videos of my second birthday party, the last one before I vanished from a grocery store parking lot in broad daylight. The kidnapping had destroyed my mother's marriage. Cost her jobs. Sent her to therapy for decades. But she never gave up hope. Meanwhile, back in Portland, the people who raised me were falling apart. Jess told me they'd filed a missing person report. Put up flyers. Dad had lost 15 pounds. Mom wasn't eating. They'd hired a private investigator and were calling every Sarah Mitchell in the country. Good. Let them suffer. Finally, I called them. One last time. Sarah? Mom's voice was desperate, raw from crying. My name is Isabella Santos, I said calmly. And I'm home now. With my real family. Please, she sobbed. We can explain everything. We love you so much. Did you love Isabella Santos when you stole her from her mother? Did you think about the love you were destroying when you decided to keep someone else's child? I hung up and blocked their numbers. Later, I learned they'd been arrested. The statute of limitations hadn't run out on kidnapping. They pled guilty in exchange for reduced sentences, but they still went to prison. The woman who raised me got 8 years. The man who taught me to ride a bike got 10. I know some people might think I was cruel. That they loved me, so it counts for something. But love built on lies isn't love at all. It's possession. And I refuse to feel guilty for choosing the family that never stopped looking for me over the family that made sure I could never be found. Have you experienced something like this? Tell me in the comments.